Thank you for joining us on this warm August evening. I have moved to adopt the agenda for the August 16th, 2023 board meeting with the following addendum. Correction of item 1, July 12th, 2023 board meeting minutes to include written comments from June. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that addendum?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Deb. Any discussion? Yeah.
I think if you're going to have the written comments in there, they need to be the same as the public comments that are in here. Pretty soon in the future, you could have a book because everybody's at home just writing what they want. So shouldn't they have to follow the same rules as what it is here?
As far as submitting the comment time and
well, the time, I mean, and the one that's in there, I mean, you could never read that in 3 minutes.
Gotcha.
Plus, they're supposed to be directed towards the whole board, not just one person. And I could care less of the comments they make about me, but in the future, for the rest of the board members that'll be here, you would think that you would want them to follow exact same rules as what the people that are coming in here. So,
yeah, appreciate that.
Now the other thing
about the agenda.
Correction to the minutes.
Well, that comes in the next one, right?
We're approving the agenda.
Yeah, and then on the but that's under the consent items.
You want to wait to hold discussion for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for those comments. The agenda has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No, I'm an aye.
Motion passes. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent items as listed?
So moved.
Do I?
You need to move closer to the mics.
Do I? How about that? Is that a little better? Is that better? Okay, I'll repeat the motion on the floor. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items as listed?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Rick?
Yeah, you got me as it was a unanimous vote on that gender inclusive schools. There was no way I voted yes for that. I was a no vote on that. It says it was a unanimous vote when it wasn't. So you need to change it.
We'll make that correction.
Okay.
All right, the motion has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So moved with that correction. Superintendent comments.
3 quick things. First, Dave Cutts, Marina, thank you. When it's too hot, people complain. When it's too cold, people complain. And I think the past few days, you've had your share of complaints. We appreciate you. And we know that we don't have an HVAC technician. So you're acting in a lot of different roles right now. So I was with Marina today and she was like, oh, I need to go check the systems and making sure that the times are right. And we do appreciate you though. And we know right now you're not going to make anyone happy. So anyway, hang in there. It's going to be raining before we know it. And then they'll complain about the rain. Yeah. Second, we have, where's Michelle Lewis? There she is. Okay, so Michelle Lewis, you could stand up if you'd like. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at, I want to get this right, the Outstanding Administrator of the Year by the Washington Family and Consumer Science Educators Group. Yeah. This is our second state level winner for administrators. And Michelle, so well deserved, recognized a lot for her work with our teaching academy. That some of you have been to the graduation ceremony where the kids come in and the young adults come in and they get their badge. And it's such a great grow your own program for educators. And Michelle is quite the innovator. She is very much a visionary for this district. Appreciate her work. And at the same time, Rachel Askelaar and Trisha Littlefield were elected as like presidents, right, of like the Washington State chapter. So like we're just killing it right now in CTE. So Michelle, thank you. We bought a cake that we're not going to bring out yet because it will probably melt, but we will bring it out towards the end of the evening so that we can celebrate with you and your award. Well deserved. So just relish this moment, right? So, and third, Bogdan. Don't let me down. Who do you think this is? Oh, well, does it have sound? Can we try it one more time? If you didn't know, yesterday I got to see Dolly Parton. Some of you might know that in this room. I probably only told you 1,000 times. Well, my crescendo moment here was going to be like, you know, playing a song by Dolly so you can imagine it in your head. So the good news is we are now officially partners with the Imagination Library, Dolly Parton Foundation, where kids in our area, birth to 5 years old, will get a free book every month mailed to their home when their parents subscribe. Marilee Hill Anderson, thank you for fostering those partnerships. We are a partnership school district, there's no question. And you made this happen with the United Way of Pierce County and Sumner Rotary. We got to see Dolly Parton yesterday. It was so much fun. And what she's doing for early literacy. There are 455,000 early learners in Washington State. And because of Dolly, many of them are going to start receiving a book every month to their home or their residence for free in their native language as well. So just love that Dolly Parton. I'm telling you, she's doing some amazing work and we're lucky to be a part of it. Marilee, thank you. How do they sign up? Do you want to tell people how to sign up? There's a microphone. You got to do the microphone because, you know, people at home are watching.
People at home too, folks, if you know little people between 0 and 5, better yet, their parents, little people shouldn't be online yet, right? So no. Go and Google Imagination Library, right? And it should have a picture of Dolly and lots of information about the program. And it says, is the program available in your area? And you click there and you put in your zip code, 98390, 98391. And it will say, yes, it's available. And then you can enter your information again, and they will send you a book every month. And I think they'll send you maybe 2 books depending on the age level of your child, right? If you have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So true. It's very exciting. Awesome. Thank you, boss.
Yes. Good news.
Lots of good news. Thank you for sharing. How about board member comments tonight? Anyone have anything they'd like to share? Paul?
I don't have anything to share. I've just been busy on projects. My honey-do list is as long as my arm, and everything I own seems to be breaking at this point. So without getting a bank loan for new stuff, I've been trying to fix it. So thanks.
Rick? Kevin?
Yes, thank you. Lots of good stuff going on in the district. Happy to hear about all the things, the awards people are winning. Well-deserved, of course. I'm looking forward to, you know, as much as our staff still wants to relish their summer vacation. I do see some events coming up for back to school, backpack handout, that sort of things that can take care of a lot of kids in our community. So look for that. Look for the information on the website, also in the emails that are coming out from the district, amongst other great events that our community outreach people are putting out there. And I'm really happy to see that.
Amazing work. All right. At this time, we're going to move into audience. Actually, I'm sorry, Deb, do you have anything, any comments?
Oh, no, that's okay. I would like to mention it. I'm just really proud of the CTE team. You guys have worked really hard and have created a really, really stellar program for the district. And I couldn't be prouder of that. So, and that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, now at this time, we're going to move into audience comments. David, would you like to set up our parameters and kick that off?
Absolutely. The board recognizes the value of public comment on education issues. and the importance of involving members of the public in its meetings. Comments from the public are taken under board advisement and may or may not receive action at a future meeting. Topics including charges or complaints against employees, employment or dismissal of personnel, acquisition of real estate, lawyer-client relationships, campaigning, and parameters for negotiations should not be discussed in audience comment. Other information, questions, or problems can usually be addressed by district staff. The audience comment period will end when all registered speakers have been heard. We ask that everyone adhere and understand these guidelines. In order to maintain respect for all points of view, the school board requests no clapping, booing, or any other form of support or non-support be used. The board will not respond to comments, but will take them under advisement. Speakers should be courteous and professional. Please refrain from using profanity, vulgar language, threatening, or defamatory comments. As a reminder, individuals are not permitted to name a specific staff member, board member, or student during public comments. Failure to do so may result in the board president or designee interrupting or ending the comment. The audience comment process is as follows. Speakers who registered by noon, Tuesday, August 15th, will be heard. If you're providing in-person public comment when your name is called, please come up to the podium and state your name. Address the comments to the school board as a whole. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and I will signal speakers with 1 minute when 1 minute remains. Our first audience comment is Donna O'Ravez.
Hi, my name is Donna O'Ravez, and I am the grandparent of 4 students in the Sumner School District. It has been quite some time since I've been able to attend board meetings, and so much has come out scientifically regarding the gender theory that is being promoted and even forced by the federal government and NEA and our own state government, teachers unions, and OSPE. It is predatory behavior to talk to children about sex and gender changes behind the backs of their parents.
You have to move the mic closer.
Oh, okay. These so-called gender affirming policies are a direct assault on our children. Studies universally show that children are not neurologically advanced enough to make life-altering decisions. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational decision-making, is not fully developed until well into a person's 20s, which leaves even older teenagers reliant on the highly emotional and reactive part of the brain known as the amygdala. These gender policies confuse and abuse children. While gender-affirming care advocates claim that transition treatments lower the risk for suicide among trans youths, the evidence does not bear this out. In fact, a Swedish report found that the suicide rate for fully transitioned adults was 19 times higher than for the rest of the population, suggesting that gender reassignment is not effective treatment to reduce suicide. Other Western nations, including England, France, Sweden, and Norway, have recently reversed course, urging caution due to the severe health risks for minors. Just think, gender reassignment hormones and surgery make a child a lifelong medical patient. Imagine that. With all the serious illnesses we deal with and strive to afford to get quality care, we will add that burden on our children, their parents, and society. Frederick Douglass spoke in 1863, just after the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation, in a lecture he titled Popular Error and Unpopular Truth. There is no such thing as a new truth. Error might be old or new, but truth is as old as the universe. Every child needs to know that he or she is loved. It is natural for teenagers to struggle with insecurities and to search for acceptance. Yet this theory is trying to sell teenagers a lie that they will be happier if they change the bodies they were born in and they become someone they are not. This so-called gender-affirming care is medical malpractice. Such efforts prey upon children when they are the most vulnerable. As we start the new school year, I would like to ask you, are you willing to be courageous, to listen to the science and truth? Are you willing to fight the government and teachers unions for the sake of the mental and physical health of the students and parents you represent? Thank you for your time and consideration of what I've presented to you today.
Thank you. Our next audience comment Our next audience comment is Teresa McClymans.
Good evening. Hi. Policies. Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Teresa McClymans. Policies. I know that you all work hard evaluating policies and how they can be modified to better allow the school district to work on behalf of the students, the teachers, administrative staff, and parents who are the primary stakeholders of their children, and who are the taxpayers who give over 40% of their property tax to the school district. So thank you for working hard and for your thoughtful care as you evaluate important policies that come to your attention. That being said, I highly recommend that every school board member listen to or take the time to read the book, Why Meadow Died by Andrew Pollock. The book is based on an extensive research of a Floridian school's policies that link together, enabling a mass murder of 16 to happen in their school. It was a horrifying event, and it was totally avoidable. The extensive research shown throughout the pages will give even better understanding of how important each policy is as it gets linked to others. It is a must read for you and for all teachers and parents as well. We're in this together, correct? Because bad policies enable destructive and sometimes deadly behavior. Please read or listen to the book, Why Meadow Died. So I say, let this year be a good year where policies respect and show love to each other in whatever way that would be practical to you at the time in conversations or actions or deeds. Where policies respect the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom of binary boundaries, where policies unite us and don't divide us. I'd like, since we're so low and so many schools in all nationwide are rating so low in reading, writing, and arithmetic sciences, I would love to come to a school board meeting where that is primary and not social, emotional issues are not right here, but let's get self-esteem and a sense of confidence and worth and purpose into the kids by academic excellence and by showing love and respect. And I pray the policies would be reflecting that and very thoughtful. Thank you.
That was our final audience comment.
Thank you. Okay. We ready to move on? We're going to go to policy matters. At this time, we have two policies up for second reading and adoption. Do I hear a motion to approve 0700 proposed strategic plan evaluation and 3231 student records? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. We have two policies listed for first reading information only, 6060 uncollectible accounts, as well as its procedure listed there. Okay. At this time, we're going to recess the regular meeting to begin the budget hearing. We'll hear a presentation from Chief Financial Officer Bang Parkinson, and then hear any comments submitted from the public regarding this budget hearing. Welcome, Bang.
Board of Directors and Superintendent Dan. Tonight, I'm presenting to you the final version of the 2023-24 budget for adoption. So again, I want to thank our superintendent and the cabinet members, along with my budget core team, for involving and dedicate their time to put the budget together. This is the agenda. I will pretty much briefly go through each fund because we already talked about it last month. So I'm not really go into detail, except a little bit about the general fund. So here's the transportation vehicle fund. We budget the revenues $531,000 and $935,000. Debt service fund, this fund is we are paying our debt, our bond debt. So we will collect about 23 million and expenditure, we pay off the principal and interest about 22 million. So we end the year about 12.7 million. That is for 23-24. Then we have the 4 years projection down based on our bond payment schedule that we will line up for each year, that how much we will pay and how much we will collect in order to maintain the fund balance in order to pay continuously. ASB fund is the student fund and it's very strong. The fund balance is still very high as usual. We kind of budget very high. Normally we wouldn't have that 2.9 million fundraisings, but individual schools just compile their budget. So that's why there's a lot of cushions in their budget. Both revenue expenditures a little bit over budget, but that's fine. It's coming from students and that's what they want to budget. And we will just use that number. To the end, we still have almost $1 million fund balance for this budget. Same here as 4 years projection, and very strong and stable. Very strong and stable. Thank you. Capital project fund, we do not have a lot of revenue coming in anymore because we do not have bond money. And all these revenues pretty much like impact fee, some state match fund for the existing projects, but we plan on spending about 38.5 million to finish up all the project, along with some of the project that we have the resolution set aside. Not all of them can finish in 1 year, but majority of them will finish that year. So you can see that the transfer in is 16.6 million just for that year. When we spend, we will transfer the money. We're not transfer 24 million that we set aside, but we transfer what we spend so that we won't lock up the money in capital project fund. So the fund balance still in general fund until they spend and then we move. And to the end, we project that we have only 2.8 million because we really end all those money that we really don't have anymore. And this is the 4 years down the road. And you can see that hopefully we will run a bond in 2024, 25. Then otherwise we will have very minimum fund balance there that we can't even barely hire a person there to manage. So, general fund, I will go over a little bit more details, but not as like last month that I go really detailed. We'll talk a little bit about general fund here. We budget 179, almost 180 revenue and 182 million expenditure, you can see that the expenditure is higher than the revenue. That means that we will spend down the fund balance there. And you see that the 16.6 million in that year, we anticipate to transfer over to capital project fund for those projects that we set aside by resolution. So to the end of the year, we anticipate that we will have 23 million end of 2024. This is our 4 years enrollment projection. Hopefully we have more kids as we projected, but this year, 23-24, we project pretty flat from 22-23. We are watching right now every week, and so far we're still waiting for 90 kids from kindergarten to register. Others pretty close to what we projected, but only kindergarten, we're still short of 90 kids. So we're still waiting for the registration. Here's our fund money come from. That's the funding source. Majority of our funds coming from state, 62%. Second big revenue is the levy. It's about 16%. Then the state grants, 14%. Federal's very small, and local funds even smaller. And that's where the money come from. So where's the money go? Majority, you can see the big piece, 3 big pieces for personnel payment for all the staff. So it's pretty much 86% of our budget's paying for staffing. The rest is very small. Okay, this is the fund balance. The 23 million fund balance, where it allocated, detailedly in here. So we have almost $1 million restricted. It's coming from all the CTE lab carryover. We cannot touch that. They are only spent on those 2 programs and nutrition service as well. And non-spendable items are like inventory. It's not really cash. It's not really liquid that you can spend. It's something we already purchased and it's still in our inventory. And that's the value of those products. It's not any cash. So fund balance is not equal to cash. They're different. Because fund balance include those that you cannot even sell for money. Inventory is one of them. Then we committed fund balance after 23-24. We anticipate we still have the project by resolution that we will live for next year to spend. And then we have some assigned fund balance, 7.1, as I kind of went over last month to talk about curriculum, cybersecurity, and all equipment. I mean, you name it, all the emergency equipment that, like today, why we're so hot, the HVAC system and all those. We're not complaining. We just prepare in case anything, broke down. We will have some money to take and finish that project. And of course, the board have 5% minimum fund balance. That's about 9.1 million here. Then the rest is 4.9, almost 5 million unassigned. So the total percentage is about 12.88%. Now this 23 million is assuming that we spend 182 millions and we collect 179 million revenue. If that is the true statement, that would have been 23 million left. So 4 years outlook, again, we hope that we have more kids coming in, then we have generate more revenue. Every year, your expenditures always go up because inflation, you know, all those salary benefits increase. So those are majority of our spending. Here you go, that's the book. Let's see if I am able to click on the book. Oops, no. If I click on. This is our budget book, the booklets, in a very high level, summary level. Let's see if it works. Here you go. So we have, I don't know how can we make it bigger. Oh. Good, thank you. So we have superintendent's message for the 23-24 budget. Everybody can, welcome to take one copy. I put it out there because this is very small. And then we also put some, you know, the district's promise to, for students to know, value, and support all the students and help graduation ready to pursue a promising future. Oh. Then we have a table of contents, and each page, we don't have a big book, it's just small. And then this is our board here, the pictures, and the administrator's name here. And we talk a little bit about the basic of the budget and the process of the budget. And then the enrollment projection, you just saw that my presentation. And you can see that all projected out for 4 more years. Then we talk about certificate and classified FTE. In the past, 21-22 actual and 22-23, and then we projected 23-24. So those are the increase of the FTE total for the whole district. I kind of insert a little bit of the bond and the levy and bond rate. You can see that the rate is going down gradually because we pay off a lot of bond money. And also the assess values going up very high. So when it go up high, the rate is going down. So it's always that way, but still, you know, we're paying off the debt and you can see the rate is going down. Then here's the same slides that I just present as where all the money come from. And then this is the same as what I just presented, where does the money go? Another slide here on your right is how much money impacts the classroom. The majority of the money is in teaching activity, some teaching support. And of course, you still have the district's district-wide support. And that's what the categories are. Capital Project Fund, you saw that this is part of the construction, the pictures that we took during the time when we built the high school, phase 1. And you can see that the budgets are down there. And then the debt service fund, same way, we have the budget there. Just I present to you the same numbers, it's just in a different format. ASB the same way, and then transportation fund same way. It's all in my presentation. It also reflects in these booklets. And that's end of these booklets. And oh, wait. And where do I go? Oops. Thank you. Any question?
You have, I know, I do too. You want to go first? Do you want to? Well, I'm kind of speechless because we have not been in this position for that long. How long have you been here, Bing?
4 years.
4
Start
years.
my 5th year.
Okay. So I don't know about you, but my household budget expenses are going up and not quite matching what we're bringing in. And so it's hard, and hard decisions need to be made to balance that out.
It is.
You have done that on a ginormous scale since you've been here. You have trimmed, you have made hard decisions, you and your team. And you have really, in my opinion, shown that we are very, very responsible stewards of our community's money. It's not something we take lightly. And we are in an amazing place because of your and your team's hard work. So
thank you.
Thank you for getting us to this place.
Thank you. It's really difficult because you don't know how many requests coming in. And the cabinet team's working on choosing their priority. What is most important for our kids? What's the budget aligned with our strategic plan? And that's what we base on to make decision at the time. And it's difficult. Even day to day, you still have a lot of requests coming in that is not in the budget. Mm-hmm. So those are difficult because we need to figure out where do we get the money, right? Because your money is pretty much fixed. And again, I appreciate what you just said that, yes, we are very responsible for the dollars that we spend because those are the taxpayers' money. And one of us are taxpayer. We spend the money, need to be responsible for all those. So I promise I will do my best to watch every dime we spend.
You've definitely proven that. So thank you
for
all your work and thoughtfulness in making decisions. What's best for kids.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm glad you got to talk first, Karen, because you're always better spoken. It is high praise. You've done a terrific job in 4 years.
Thank
and
you.
I just want to point a couple of those things out. One of those things you did was you provide a monthly financial report that's online available for the community to read and brush up on. They can dive as deep as they want. From my understanding, they can probably call the district if they have questions too.
Yes, absolutely.
The other thing is, I really like this handbook or this budget summary that you've done. And the first page, Dr. Dent did a great job with the letter, and it highlights 5 areas where priorities are changing for next year and where money is being prioritized and spent.
Yep.
So I encourage the public to read this thing. And I mean, if all you read is the superintendent's letter and look through the charts, you're better off than most. It was well done.
Thank you.
And I too am happy that you treat the district's dollars like it's your own money.
Absolutely.
Just a comment. Bang. This is my last budget presentation I'll sit through. I've been here for 15 of these things. And by far, you have made this stuff, I think, way easier for board members to understand, where the money's coming and going from. And I think, like when I first came on here, I don't think I knew what the hell was going on with the money. Or did most people, I don't think, but you've made it so much easier and so much easy to understand. And like they've both said, you're a great steward of the money, because I know you implemented something maybe a year or two ago, where if somebody wanted something, it had to come through you, which is good because you know where the money is, where it's coming and going. But like I said, we get so much more information than we ever used to. And that's because you really know how to do this stuff, and you do it well. That's why you got some big award here earlier this year.
Thank you.
And I'll just say, hey, thanks, because you made it easier for me to understand this stuff. And I think for everybody to understand it, you've done a fantastic job.
Yeah. It's one of our guiding principles is transparent in our office. We promise that we will provide information to make known. Yeah. Thank you.
Kevin or Deb?
Just thank you. I think that financial matters are the foundation of building trust in our community, and you've done an excellent job with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, Bang, you know how I feel about you and how much I respect you. Very fortunate to have been on your hiring committee. And I look forward to many more years of hearing. I won't say it's a simplistic approach, but as the other board members have mentioned, it's very understandable. And I think almost anybody could take a look at it or, you know, listen to this recording and understand the great work you and your entire team, you know, how hard you work and how much we really appreciate that. So everybody has said just the perfect compliments, and I just am so happy you're there. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb, for hiring me. No question? All right.
I think that's it for us, but at this time, we also have an opportunity for the public to submit comments. Do we have anyone signed up for comments?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Bang.
Thank you.
So no comments have been submitted regarding the budget hearing. So at this time, we'll move back into the regular meeting. We have a resolution up for adoption. The administration recommends the board adopt resolution 23-22-23 for the 2023-24 budget. The 4-year budget and excess levy summary and 4-year enrollment and staff projection. Do I have a motion to approve this recommendation? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. For information only, there's the budget status report for June 30th, 2023 included for your information. Let's see, the board also, Parks and Recommendation Interlocal Agreement. The recommendation is the board approve the City of Bonney Lake and Sumner-Bonney Lake School District Recreation Interlocal Agreement as presented. Do I have a motion to approve this interlocal agreement?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. It's kind of a question, but I think I know the answer, but I think it would be good to discuss here so that the public is aware of everything as well. Within the agreement, it has $50,000 kind of being from the district back to the City of Bonney Lake to help offset the expense of the Parks and Rec program on their end. We kind of alluded to it, or we touched on it when we had the before and after school program presentation here. Could we just have a highlight of that again? And
Well, so let me see if I'm going to answer your question correctly, and if not, I can add on where I need to first. Before I answer your question, I want to thank Marion and Tu for their work. This has been going on since January. So this has been a very long process to get to this 1-year agreement solely for the rec side of Parks and Rec. Chuck McEwen from the City of Bonney Lake has also been sort of an unsung hero behind the scenes, working to come to some sort of agreement, again, for 1 year where the district supplements the recreation program for the City of Bonney Lake. We have full ownership now of the before and after school childcare program. It's not associated with the City of Bonney Lake anymore. It's all in the Sumner School District with right at school. So it's in every one of our elementary schools. It's doing well. We're excited for it to launch and get started, but this is just for the rec department, 1 year only. Does that answer your question?
kind of.
Okay.
From the presentation from Right at 8, I understood that there was like a profit sharing with the district.
Right. So we'll get, once it gets up and running, we'll get like initially a 5% return on whatever revenue they gather. We'll need to make a decision on where that revenue goes. That hasn't been decided because we don't know how much we'll receive. They offer scholarships, they offer discounts for staff, which has been a great recruiting tool. But again, it's not associated with the City of Bonney Lake anymore at all.
maybe I made an assumption. I thought some of that potential profit sharing was the 50,000 to help supplement their.
It could, I mean, it certainly could.
Okay.
We don't have any money yet. I don't know how much we'll get, but it's certainly, if that's what the board decides and that's what, you know, we decide together, we want to use the 5% to offset that $50,000. We certainly could.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Okay, just to reiterate, the recommendation has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion passes.
Just want to say one more thing. So you're approving this tonight. It's going to go to the city of Bonnie Lake next. So they haven't approved this yet.
Thank you. Okay, we have a capital projects and facilities presentation by Manager Marina Tanay. Welcome.
Thank you, Board of Directors and Dr. Dent. It's been a little bit. So I want to catch you up on some of the things that we've been doing. First of all, don't often get a chance to talk about what our energy team has been doing. We're very well aware of legislation that affects, you know, the targets that we need to meet for our buildings. And so in 2021, the district entered into a strategic energy management grant program with Puget Sound Energy. And in the first year, you can see that our total avoided costs were over $36,000. And we received incentives from PSE totaling over $14,000. Currently, we're working with PSE to do the accounting for the 2022 calendar year and reconciling what all that data means. And we expect to receive some sort of incentive for that 22 fiscal year as well. Any questions about that? That reflects the whole district, both natural gas and electricity.
Aaron, can I ask a question? So I see where we've got avoided costs. Could you tell us how much the initial outlay was?
We didn't outlay anything for this. So
good news.
This is just our team meeting and trying to tighten up our schedules, trying to look at how equipment is performing and looking for no cost or low cost measures to take to make sure our equipment functions as it's supposed to. Okay. It's been a while since we spoke about this, but the Bonnie Lake High School roof repairs were completed, and so that project is wrapped up, just awaiting. Well, that just the paperwork from the state, so we can close it out. But that project, it went very well and was completed. I'm really happy about the Sunset Stadium completion of projects. So the track resurfacing took place June, July, and the scoreboard is in place. And I think it was Alex from Parks and Rec that told me it's so cool that you can control it from your phone. So it's really cool. Great addition to the site. One of the other things that really grateful that the board put some money towards was the gym floor replacement at Victor Falls. We had a great deal of water intrusion in that site. So now we have a really nice moisture barrier under that floor. And when we were able to put the new floor back, we were able to add pickleball lines. So we now have pickleball courts in addition to the other sports there at Victor Falls. It looks beautiful. And we had a really great floor team. I really appreciate that team. Bonnie Lake High School Stadium. Football is going to be on the turf tomorrow. So that the turf field is done and the lights are done. They were being commissioned today. So great savings electricity wise for us with the LEDs. They also are just, you know, so much kinder to the neighborhood. And they have some fun features that I'm hoping people will start to explore. The track right now, we are working on repairing where we have root intrusion in areas of the track. And we, in early September, we will close the track for a few days while we put the new surfacing on the track. So when that's done, that stadium's going to be looking sharp. We also have a scoreboard that will be coming for Bonnie Lake High School Stadium, for the Bonnie Lake High School girls softball and boys baseball, and Sumner High School boys baseball. All of those ship September 6th, and I'm currently working with the project manager from Daktronics to get those installed. So more to follow. Another really great project is the Lake Ridge vestibule, which is currently in progress. The design really fits with that entrance, and it's going to be a great feature for the building to have that extra security. So that will be done before the start of school. It's coming along very well. Another fun couple of projects, Mountain View Interiors, and these are old pictures. Was in there and took a bunch of new pictures, and really all the painting interior will be done the end of this week. Looks really, really good. We are adding a few detailed things. I'm one of those detailed person that just little things niggle at me. So we're going to paint the trim on the portables to match. And I'm looking at the gate to the service yard to take care of that. And we have just a few random doors on the interior and window frames that we're also going to complete. The repairs from the vehicle damage are also in process. So the door frame is in on the interior. All the doors and storefronts have been received, and they're just being assembled and the hardware added so that the company can add those. And then they will complete the installation of those so we can have a nice vestibule when we open school in September. We have a couple pieces that will hang over into the school year. We are replacing the lights that you see in that picture. So those little sconces and then the hanging lights in the front entry hallway, those will be updated and replaced. Those are longer lead items. So they'll be coming in probably in the next few weeks. And we're also replacing the clocks. So the clock in the front exterior of the school and in the commons will also be updated and replaced. And they're going to be beautiful. So very excited about those details. Right now, the next piece also is flooring. All the carpet's done in the building, and they'll start laying the resilient floor in the hallways shortly. We've talked a bit over the past few months about our district-wide indoor air quality retro commissioning project. I just wanted to put out there all of the buildings that we touched with this project. Really, the whole investigation phase is complete. A good portion of the early issue phase has already been corrected. We've got work going on to take care of some other issues recently identified in some of the later stages of that project. And also PSE will be releasing our grant dollars for the first stage, that investigation stage. And we expect that grant to be around $58,000. So with that, we're hoping we can roll that into doing some more improvements and repairs to equipment. So we could just reinvest those dollars in that equipment, which will also help us get more for the implementation phase. And then there will be a performance phase where we look at how the changes that we've made maintain savings over time and maintain equipment health. So lots of things going on with that. But as far as the books, that project will close out this month. Other big projects. Another project on the ESSER has been the Daffodil site with the chiller, and chillers, oh my goodness, they're like generators. They take a year to assemble apparently. So we are expecting the chiller to arrive later this month. The control side is complete and some other change order work that we did. So right now we've got the original chiller limping along to keep the building comfortable. Boilers are in good shape. We have new VFDs, new valves, and new controls. So that building is running fairly well, all things considered, without the chiller. And then we also used funds from that project to take a deep dive into the Bonnie Lake High School chillers. We've got both of them running. There are still some further improvements that we need to make to them. So we're working on taking care of those things as well. But we have functioning chillers, keeping Bonnie Lake High School cool. And lots and lots of generators. So Crestwood, Liberty Ridge, Daffodil Valley, and Mountain View are the only schools that don't have generators. Those generators are in production, don't have delivery dates. They're kind of like chillers. They take about a year. So it's a long lead item, but they have been ordered and are in production. And then we're working with our engineers to take a look about adding generators at support services and transportation to take care of emergency use and things like that. We will be meeting later this week to have those discussions. They've been working on their calculations. So looking forward to that meeting. And then here's a whole lot of other things. It has been a very busy summer. I'm sure, I hope you've seen the pictures of the Sumner High School tennis court. It turned out beautiful. So that project is complete and it is a beautiful, beautiful court. It's really cool to see the kids excited about starting tennis. And I mentioned the scoreboards, so those are coming. We've had some challenges with our Core Plus projects. We're working on improvements to the compressors and adding acoustic treatments to the Bonnie Lake Shop classroom. It's been a very challenging year for getting contractors to bid on projects. And the bids that we did receive on the acoustic project were extremely high, higher than our budget. So we're going to table that for right now. CTE has worked out a plan for that program so that it can continue at Bonnie Lake High School while we circle, and I'm hoping to have like an early spring, put it out to bid so that we have a better chance of getting contractors for summer work on that type of project. Playgrounds, Liberty Ridge and Victor Falls, playground replacements are in production. They're also going through the process with the health department, as is to Holly Heights. We have approval for Liberty Ridge. A couple of questions to answer for Victor Falls, but we are on track. Playgrounds are also turning into long lead items, so we're looking at winter builds for these. So, and then I'm excited to say that transportation heat pump replacement will start later this month. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge and uncomfortable while we have our contractors working in the building, but we've got some really great contractors. Our shop or site superintendent lives over by Home Depot, so he's very invested in our project, really likes working close to home. And all of our subs are very good, reputable companies. So I feel really good about the team that we've got together for putting those in place. But yeah, it's a tight building. There's not a lot of space. And we've got to go up through the ceiling to put those heat pumps in place. Sumner High School elevator modernization. These just keep going on. Sorry. I don't know a lot about elevators. I will tell you that. But the equipment that makes the elevator run up and down is aging and needs to be replaced. So Dave could probably explain that better to you. We've got that scheduled for winter break. So just an update on that. Bonnie Lake High School student store remodel. Ran into the whole contractor thing. We don't have time to staff your job. I actually had a general and they lost their plumber and their low voltage after they gave us the bid. So it was like, okay, we can't do this. We'll put it off till February, March to bid. So that's what we're going to do with that one. And then finally, we have the pool bottom resurfacing and replacement of the drain safety covers. And that work is going to take place next August. We'll be working with the pool manager to get that pool safely drained. And it'll be really exciting to see that new surface there and the new drains make it much more attractive, safer, and more enjoyable for all of our user groups. So any questions about all of that stuff that's going on? I keep a Gantt chart so I can keep track of where everything is and yeah, because there's a lot.
I'll make a comment. Since I would make comments sometimes. Is that thing on? You know, I think when I came here, we've remodeled every school.
Just about.
Just about every school. I think there's only one or two that have not been remodeled. But the one thing I'm going to give you kudos on is I've never seen so many things going on at one time and you handling them as well. You and Dave back there, you guys work great together. And it's impressive to see in the past, could be some of this electronics we have in here that we get to show us everything. But I remember the presentations I would get when I first got here. It was nothing like this. You know, you do a fantastic job of keeping us up to date on everything. And like I said, the number of things that you guys have going on at one time is astronomical. In the past, there'd be maybe one or two projects, and you know this, maybe two or three, and that was the cluster in a way. And so, you know, kudos to you and your staff, for Dave back there, and I got to give some kudos to Matt. He does a great job helping with you guys, and but you guys have done a fantastic job keeping all this stuff going. Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions?
Well said.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, under information only, we have a report by Assistant Superintendent Kelly Den regarding the district's annual application for state basic education allocation funds that are submitted to OSPI. For your reading, we also have a change order number 15, Sumner High School Phase 1 building, and there's a list of change orders there for your reading, and the total amount of $340,732.82. Please do.
In prior projects, there was some change.
Yeah. He really used to complain a lot about the change order, so thank you. All right. Board discussion. Anyone have anything up for discussion? Paul's shaking his head. Okay.
That's just minor. I was looking for, see if it was in my packet here. I don't see it, but this is in regards to the consent agenda where you have all the contracts listed. That was a great improvement that Bang brought in so that we could actually see them. When it first started, you could see the contract and they had a description down there, what it was for, about approximately how many students it covered. It just had a little more information. Over the years, last couple of years, the information has gotten less and less. I found it helpful for when I met with a representative, a state representative, I could actually show them that to say, hey, look, here is an example of how special education is underfunded. We've got a contract. It's $350,000. It's for 2 people. You know, the same thing with the taxi service for McKinney-Vento, to be able to say, hey, look, it's cost us $350,000 a year for McKinney-Vento students and some special service students. It used to have a number in there. Now there's no number. So it's a far different when you're talking about $350,000 if it's 35 students and it's 10 grand each, or if it's 700 students and it's $500 each for the year. It's a big difference. So if we could get more information back to those descriptions, I would find it helpful. Maybe I'm the only one. I pitch it out for you guys for your thoughts.
Any thoughts? Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Any other discussion?
Lori, anything that the district needs help with as we head back to school from the community or volunteers, or?
We'll always take help. Kevin, you said earlier we have 3 back to school resource fairs coming up where we could always use a few hands and arms to pass out backpacks and get kids ready for school. So Marilee shaking her head, contact Marilee or the Family Center, and we'd love to see you. Yeah. Right. Tomorrow it's going to be quite warm.
It was hot last year too.
I remember that. But if I could just say one thing, because you all hear me say this all the time. The public doesn't necessarily hear this, but I have the best team on earth. This district is strong. Our future is stronger because of the people sitting in this room. I'm blessed to work with the quality of educator, professional, administrator. Yeah, Dave and Marino, they work like literal magic because it's just two of them. And they do all of this and more. Bang, Michelle, Kelly, Elle, Marilee, Karen. Karen got back over $1 million from Safety Net for special education because it is never funded adequately. Talk about a warrior. You've got two, and David Brower and Charmaine, Robin. I mean, everyone in this room, Sarah, Jen Black, our union president. They love kids, and that's what we fight for every day. But my team, I'm telling you, this team in this district is incredible. And what you see tonight is a reflection of their dedication and their work. It's not like people are just lining up to say thank you. We wish sometimes, but that's not what happens here. And when you sign up to be a leader, we know that that's part of the job. But this district, I'm telling you, they are in good hands because of the leadership in this room.
Thanks, Lori. I should have added one other thing for the descriptor that might be helpful when any of us go talk to a legislator, or even just for the public to see, you know, besides number of students. It would be helpful for like special services when it says, this is the only provider in the state. Because I've had that response back. Well, why aren't you guys going out for competitive bids? As far as I know, this is the only provider in the state. But if it's there on that document, it makes it a lot easier to share and gets the point across.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Lori. Deb, anything for discussion?
I'm good, thank you. Good points, Paul.
All right, thank you. Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. It'll begin at 6 p.m. in the Central Office Boardroom, a couple of weeks into the new school year. At this time, we are going into open public meeting for executive session. All right, good.
And we have cake.
So maybe we'll have a little cake break, and then we will move into executive session for the purposes of discussing potential litigation. Action is not anticipated following executive session, and we think it shall last about an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. All right. Thank you for coming this evening. Go eat some cake.
Yeah, let's have some